Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sivadas Madhavan, Associate Professor of English, Soda University. Today I am going to talk about something different from what I have been talking about all these days. I have been talking about the research philosophy or the philosophical concepts that lie under the research foundation, the unseen or invisible structure of the research. So that gives the scientific notion to the scientific structure of the research. But at least now in 20th century there are people to oppose that. And research scholars and the people who study how to conduct the research must know that there are different opinions. All the research scholars follow the conventional research paradigms and follow the research philosophies. But Linda Smith, a scholar from New Zealand, says it is not right. She says the Westerners or the imperialist colonizers impose their methods on the scholars and they suppress the rights of the indigenous people. She says there should be no monopoly of these research methods. Research must be done by the scholars as they like. There should be no blocks, or there should be no hurdles, or there should be no imposition on the shoulders of the researchers. Researchers must be free to do their research. So that means she is talking about decolonizing methodologies. She has written a book titled Decolonizing Methodologies. It was in 1999 that she published it. And I think in 2012 she has revised the same book. So she gives more importance to the indigenous people who do the research. So she stands for the voice of the indigenous people who are marginalized. So there should be no monopoly of Westerners, or there should be no imposition of some particular methods on the shoulders of the researchers. Researchers must be free. That is what Linda Smith says. She is against the Eurocentric research methods. So it is time for us also to talk about this type of research methods. And most of the time the research scholars find it difficult to follow the narrow structure the research advisors and research guides show them, and many people sometimes feel that it is too much, very rigid rules. But at the same time some people are very liberal. The other day I happened to see one eminent professor from Bahadar University who was talking about the freedom of the researchers. He says the conceptual framework is commonly put in the second chapter, that is the review of literature. But he stands for, or he supports the idea of putting it either in the first chapter or in the second chapter or even in the third chapter. So it depends on the requirement of the topic, the methodology and the interest of the researcher. So there are people who give freedom to the researchers. And he at the same time, Professor Ravi says, some people in the first chapter insist on having the organization described in the first chapter itself. But he asks, why should we describe this when it is clear in the contents? When there is contents in the research paper, why should you say the first chapter contains this, second chapter contains this, etc. So that is giving freedom to the writers. So there are liberal people like that, but at the same time there are some very strict, rigid scholars also. So here the importance of Linda Smith comes to help us. And I have written an article on research philosophy, and it is published 2 years ago. It was published on a website, on an online magazine, and you can read it. I have expressed this idea in the last paragraph. saying that research scholars can sometimes break the rules, just like a new chick pecking at the shell of its egg to come out earlier than its mother decides by pecking at it from outside and breaking the shell. So research scholars can try to make the changes, just like a chick pecking at the shell of the egg from inside. That's also possible. And a research guide can be like a mother hen pecking at the shell from outside. So both the way, new ideas will come up. So it is time for the scholars to make new ideas in the field of research. So Linda Smith is there to help us. Or there are many others also who follow her ideas, or people are there to talk about such revolutionary ideas. So it is time for the researchers to follow it. And I hope the people who watch this will try to see different views. Thank you very much. See you next time with a new topic. Till then, goodbye.